What's up, y'all? I'm Maxwell Payne Stark. We're live here at Hippo Factory Studios in LA. I'm here with Darin Conrad, a legend himself. How you living, brother?
Feeling good, man. In a good headspace these days.
Good. It's good to hear. You know, I'm feeling good. You know, it doesn't get better than this. Just wrapped up that shoot. You know, feel good about it. It's good to get this song out. You know, to the world. I think I'm excited. There's a good feeling going into this.
Absolutely, brother. Just to get right into it, I want to hear more about just the creative process of the track itself. You know, what was the original inspiration here with Driftwood?
Totally, man. I mean, I think the main inspiration was to put people in the same headspace, you know, that I'm in, to relate to some people. The song came so natural. It's obviously about drifting away, but, you know, not always such this bad connotation to that. It was more of, you know, relating to that feeling right now where not everyone might feel present. You might feel like you're not in control of the situation you're in. You might feel like you're a little aloof, but we're trying to bring it back in, stay, you know, grounded, positive, acknowledge that, but yeah, make sure that we're not drifting too far.
Touching more on the creative process itself as like a songwriter, as an artist, what was the lyrical process of this track?
The lyrical process was so natural, it just came so easy. I wrote the song a year ago and I just held on to it. It was one of those nights where it came out. We didn't put any pen to paper. It just kind of wrote itself. And I think there's something beautiful about that. Shout out Soul. We have, you know, the producer of the track, great dude. We had a great session here in Venice where we kind of just gloomy day, let the kind of vibe speak for itself, where we weren't trying to make anything. It just kind of, I heard the chords and just kind of, you know, it kind of wrote itself, like I was saying.
Yeah, and I think when we first met, you know, you had quite some time to sit on this song, and like, I'm sure that correlates to visually just aligning that with the message you want to put out to the world. And I think we both agree on this idea of like making people feel things, whether it is through music or through video. As a director, I've always been fascinated by the mesh between the two of music and video. So even just doing the acoustic video today is like, to me, that's cloud nine, dude. When you're in the cut and like, I mean, you guys will see this edit. It's ridiculous. Max is like so in his bag. It feels so cool to like see that. And I'm like, bro, right there intimately with you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like behind the camera, just stank face. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, this guy's fucking dope, dude. You feel these things through this. So it's a pleasure to like put this out, you know, and help you express that to your fans.
You know, it's been nothing but honestly a damn honor because you want somebody who's gonna give a shit. You know, like there's, you know, a lot of times in the industry, money's tossed around, this, that. Very natural on how we both were going, like you said, for a feeling we were trying to portray. You related to this. I saw your visuals. I related to what you were going for. This nostalgia feeling where we're putting the viewer, the listener in this headspace. And I'm proud of what we portrayed, you know, this very sexy, trippy, you know, story, which makes you think. It has depth. It's not just this drift away, you know. We could have me drifting away, you know. We could have did that, but we wanted layers to it. And, you know, I don't want to give all of what I thought and what you did. I want the listener to build what they thought. How does it relate to you? How does the visual relate to you? How many nights have you had where you can relate to something like that?
Right. It's a big hope I have is that people watch this video and it just gives them like a whoa moment, you know. I just want that feeling of just I want to take you somewhere, you know. And that's why we did the whole like cutaway parts. Like, it's more to the song, you know. You want to, again, just take people through this journey and like this sauce that we grew up like getting lost in the sauce. And to me, as I get older, I interpret that as like overstimulation of being in the city, you know. So you find yourself out at these social gatherings, these functions, these mixers, and you are kind of alone within your head, right? These are like the initial discussions we had when I was first hearing the song, right? You pay attention to the lyrics and what those mean to me as the viewer, right?
I mean, I'm blessed to, have a day like today, and I think, we have our own inspirations, but I really liked a lot of the stuff you came at me with the treatment. I know there was a lot of 90s and early 2000s movies that we pulled a lot of inspiration from, and I really related to that, obviously growing up in the era, but I just felt like there was a feel to it. We weren't really trying to make me look cool. It wasn't like about something like that. It was about how do we make someone feel it, really just feel it, and we owned in on that feeling, that headspace. Being by yourself with these eternal discussions in this crowded room, which is kind of like a funny thing, like you said, feeling alone in this room. You might be in a new city and you're like, I'm going out, I'm doing this thing. And you go out and you're like, am I supposed to be here?
That inner voice comes on.
Am I faking it? You don't know, if you're even supposed to be there, but you kind of just let it take you. You drift into the night. So hopefully, we can portray a little of that with this content.
And just touching on more of like the original inspiration of the visuals, you mentioned like older films, and as a young director myself, I'm still working on developing my own style of the pace of the videos, the writing, right, the angles we're getting. So I lean into like movies that are memorable. There's like moments in films where you're like, oh, this makes me feel something, or like, again, that like, whoa moment, right? With this video, the original inspiration was the film Garden State. I think that was like the first treatment I sent you of like, I literally cut driftwood to the scene in the movie where homie comes in the party, he's dapping up his boys, right? He's starting to get eyed by these girls. He's offered drugs. They pass him the bong, the drinks. He's like, no, I'm good. These are moments in this video that, we get close-ups of you kind of looking down. You kind of do that. It's like we take that and make it our own. But then you do fall to like the seduction of the sauce, we'll call it. This stimulation, you get into that. And like visually, that's where I wanted to go with this is like, in my head, I've always felt that this overstimulation is this temptation almost to like do things you're not supposed to be doing, or you can write a whole movie about that type of stuff, but I was just hoping to like visually bring us to that space with this music video.
And man, I couldn't be more happy with the end product. I think it gives the viewer like this question to question, like in your head, it puts in there like, like I felt like that before. So, but it's like, so, then the pill, it's like, where's he going? Is that here, or did that happen? There's all these angles to it.
I am curious now, like what's next for Max? What does this next chapter look like for you from your perspective?
And that's so awesome to think about, because I've been going for, over 10 years, and it's progressed into something where this is like more of a grown sound for me, and I want to build off that momentum. A lot of the times I really will take a second to put my music out because of expectations from the outside. And this time it's like there's no expectation. It's just, you got the idea, get that out if you respect it and you think it could be useful to, the public. My music is something you can take something from. To me, it's what I'm going for. It's like a medicine that you can, maybe use, maybe you relate to. That's like what I'm going for. I'm not going like, hey, can I look cool? So my next phase, era is just create. Just get the stuff out, because like in a weird way, like as cliche as it sounds, like tomorrow's not promised, right? So it's like art's forever. This music stuff is why I'm in this, we're trying to build that legacy, and if I can leave these little snippets behind, that's what I'm doing it for. So I think that's the next, is to just not have this fear of like creation with it. What will someone think about it? It's just do it, enjoy it with your friends, with somebody, you know, like you, where you're like, I respect what you're doing, man. Let's collab on that. Like, no expectation other than like, let's get out what we see. Don't let someone else tell you you can't or it's not good enough. It just like as a main point, you know, like, so what if it's your first year? So what if it's my first year singing? So what if it's 10 years down the road? You know, just keep on going. And if it's fun for you, if it's fulfilling, you're going to attract the right people, you know, that are going to come into your life for the right reasons, that have good intentions. And hopefully this can be somewhat of an inspiration to be like, yo, you could be in a sauna and you can overhear, oh, hey, you know, I make this kind of music. I make music. Oh, hey, I'm a videographer. That's fine. That's natural. You know, it's dope to see where that could go if you really put your hard work, you show up, you know. That's something, you know, that actually my manager Brandon always said, and that's how I got in a lot of rooms, was just show up. Just be there and be yourself.
I love it, bro.
First, you know what I mean? And the rest will take care of itself. And
that whole just start thing, you know, I think 0 to 1 is probably like the hardest step, where like 1 to 2, you start building momentum. 2 turns to 3, 3 turns to 4. Next thing you know, you're at 30, right? Levels wise. This momentum push of your career is like, think about this giant boulder that's like way too heavy to push. And it takes so much effort to get that first movement, right? That first step is like so hard to do. You might need to call your homies up and get help to push this. But once that big ball starts rolling, it builds momentum. And the next thing you know, you're just tumbling down a hill, bro. You're like, it's such a great metaphor that I'll never forget that, dude. I think it's wonderful, you know?
Hey, you know, we're blessed, you know, like I said, live from LA. You know, tune in for what's next. We're going to keep this boulder rolling.
Yeah, bro. Give me some sugar. Cheers, brother. Thanks, y'all.